Good guy, that Mike Garafolo. And a very happy new year to our good friend Mike Garafolo, who's joining us from his luxurious home on the Jersey Shore in front of beautiful abstract art. Mike, it's first of all great to see you. I hope you had a great holiday season. Mike Tomlin is still very much in the Christmas spirit because he's sticking with Rudolph. You get it, Mike? He's sticking with Rudolph. Yeah. Even though Kenny Pickett is medically cleared. So, the Pittsburgh Steelers, biggest game of the year, Mason Rudolph. You just got to trust the coach, right, Mike?
This is not how the Steelers operate the way the rest of us are thinking, which is they just gave up on Kenny Pickett. In their minds, they're riding the hot hand. They had to win out. They know they had to win out. They won 2 of 3. They have to win the third one. You don't want to upset the apple cart right now. You're going to ride the hot hand. And we can go back to Kenny Pickett, let's say, next season to start the year. We're not worried about that. That's not how Mike Tomlin operates. He operates from game to game. And if there's got to be a point where there's a reclamation project for Kenny Pickett or he's got to compete with somebody else in the offseason, whether it's Mason Rudolph or anybody else, we'll worry about that then. This was all about really the fact that Mason Rudolph has played the best football he really ever has for the Steelers. And this is a guy who, trust me, this Steelers fan base, they kept saying, why do we keep bringing this guy back? Why? Because there were multiple times where you're like, all right, Mason Rudolph's done with the Steelers. And he just kept coming back. And all of this patience that the Steelers have shown, not just this past year, but in the years leading up to this year, it's finally paying off because the guy that they needed to play good football at the quarterback position when the other guys, Mitchell Trubisky and Pickett earlier this year, really didn't play great ball, has done it right now. This is not any kind of long-term thing. They have not made long-term decisions. They are just making decisions in the short term, and it's up to Mason Rudolph to see if he can get them into the postseason.
Well, at least they're on a roll because the other team in Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia Eagles, are spinning out of control. They've lost 4 of their last 5. Devontae Smith injures his ankle in Sunday's loss. This seems like a team that's lost their mojo. Can they get it back for the playoffs, Mike?
It's hard to just snap your fingers and get it back the way things are backsliding for them. Jay, I've never been more sure that a team was going to lose a football game than I was watching the Eagles as the game went on. I'm like, they're possibly, they're going to lose this football game. In fact, when they only kicked the field goal and the Cardinals were getting the ball back, I said, I know exactly what's going to happen. Murray's going to scramble around a little bit. He's going to make some throws to the sideline to get out of bounds, and the Cardinals are going to score a touchdown, and they're going to win the game. It's exactly what happened. And me, having covered this team, I don't have a rooting interest, but it just showed my lack of faith in them. I believe there's a lack of faith in themselves right now and in the entire operation. And I know this because if you ask them, can you get your mojo back? They'd say, yeah, we just got to go back there and execute. If I asked them, they'd say the same thing. So what I do is I like to have conversations with people who are talking, whether it's their friends or their family members or their agents. And I can tell from the feedback that they don't have confidence in the whole operation right now. And they're starting to get a little bit of that little sniping. Well, this side's not doing that. This side of the ball is not doing the coaching staff. And all of a sudden, it's like everything that worked so well and led to such swagger last year is all gone right now. They can get into the postseason. They may win their first game as the top wild card. They're going to go up likely against the NFC South champion. But to think that all of a sudden they're going to go into a San Francisco or a Detroit or even the Dallas right now, the way this team is playing, I just don't see a playoff run.
Let's talk about some of these big names, Mike, that are injured right now heading into the final week of the regular season. You got Christian McCaffrey, you got Trevor Lawrence, you got Tua Tagovailoa. Of those 3, who are we most likely to see actually play in Week 18?
Trevor's got a shot. He's working his way through that AC joint sprain, which some guys are able to play through the first week. It is tough for a quarterback, and it wasn't the case in this one. So usually it's about a 2 to 4 week injury, depending on the severity. So I'd say that he has a chance right now. Tua said that the shoulder was fine, just a little bit of soreness after that game. So I would expect in this situation with a game of this magnitude against the Bills, which by the time that game kicks off, it could be division title or out of the postseason, depending on how other things fall for the Buffalo Bills in this case. Miami's going to be in. It's just a question of are they the division champs. So it is a huge game for Miami. I'd expect to see Tua out there. But you mentioned Christian McCaffrey. The luxury right now for the San Francisco 49ers is they can give him 2 weeks off. That is the expectation that he's not going to play in Week 18 in a game that doesn't matter. They already locked up that number 1 seed. Then to get the rest that comes with the bye week, I do love the fact that, by the way, right now, because of the odd number of teams in the postseason, only one team gets the bye. I think that's cool. That's something that should be earned for the first team in each conference. The 49ers have earned that. So Christian McCaffrey will get some rest on that calf injury. We know they're tricky, but it is, from what I gather, very minor, and they pulled him out of precaution. Now they're going to rest him out of precaution. I'd imagine when the Niners line up for the divisional round game, he will be ready to go. That entire team will be ready to go. That's still my team that I'm expecting to come out of the NFC.
Mike, any New Year's resolutions as we begin 2024?
Yeah, thankfully I don't do this on the air, at least not very often, and we usually pre-tape these segments so you can bleep it out. But my resolution is to stop swearing. Now, I'm not a big trucker swearing kind of guy, trucker mouth guy, but my daughter, who is 6 years old, Carmen, is now telling me, "Daddy, don't say that word." And I'm like, if a 6-year-old is telling me that, I probably should dial it back a little bit. So I'm not going to say that I'm going to just wipe it. In fact, I dropped a few today. I'm just going to try to dial it back down. There's really not a number. It's just a feel in my head. Just don't drop them unless you're really, really pissed.
You know
which
what?
I do get from time.
I think that's a good philosophy, and I like this look for you. You know, you're very angelic with this white background, so keep it up. Bottom line is, Mike, on this edition of your appearance on the show, you did a really great job.